we have two pathways. They both start with a USDA 502 loan. So let's go into the loan a little more, and then we'll talk about the first pathway, which is essentially we get you the loan and you buy a home on the market. You use a real estate agent or you find a local builder to build the house for you. And many people may say, well, how is that even possible? I've talked to the bank and I've only been approved for $120,000. How can I buy something? Or how can I find a builder? As I mentioned, this loan has mechanisms to make it affordable for you. So the first thing I want to mention, there is no money down with this loan. Also, another interesting factor of it is you don't have to have 20% equity in the home to avoid paying PMI insurance. And that's insurance that you pay if you don't have, a certain amount of down payment. I had to pay it on my most recent home that I've bought. I had to pay it for 5 years until I had enough equity that they didn't charge it anymore. But on my loan, it was $50 a month, right? So you don't have that PMI insurance. You're just paying your interest and your insurance. The loan is income restricted in Caroline County in our region, and I'm going to talk about Caroline income, but we can package this loan anywhere if you were going to use a real estate agent or a builder. But every county has its own income limits. Caroline County's income limit, you cannot make more than, for a family of 4, you cannot make more than $72,000. For a family between 5 and 8, you cannot make more than $95,050. And then roughly you are going to add, if you have a larger family than 8, you're going to add basically 8% and per additional dependent that you might have. So it is income based, and it does take. Now, when we talk about the lowest amount you can make to buy a home, honestly, that really has more to do with market conditions than it does with how low or how much income you make. Because however much it costs to build a home or buy a home, that's the minimum loan amount, that you're going to need to buy that home. And so your income, if you come to me and let's say you make, $22,000 a year, we're going to plug the numbers in. We're going to tell you your loan maximum. Based off of that, that's going to tell you what you got to work with. So I'd like to say there was a minimum for everybody, but there really isn't. It really is market conditions. Now, if you go our second route, which we'll talk about more in detail in a few moments, we are able to sell the homes to you and build them with you, and you save on a lot of costs. So that makes it so if your loan isn't approved for as much, you have that second option available. But just in general, the numbers that I've plugged in, if you are a family of 4 in Caroline County and you have the right debt to income ratios and you have stable income, to get the loan maximum in Caroline County, you need to make roughly about $35,000 a year. Now, that does mean that you have to have certain other factors in place as well, debt to income ratio. So when they calculate your debt to income ratio, that's all of your monthly obligations that are reported on your credit report. So that would be like car payments, credit card minimum payments, anything that shows up on your credit report as a monthly obligation you have is how they calculate your debt to income ratio. This particular loan, in order to be affordable, I mentioned the home, they don't want it to be more than 30% of your income. The other part of your income, your car payments, your other various things, they don't want that to be any more than 12% of your income. So what that means is based off of how much debt load you have, one person that makes 35 might get approved for the loan max, which is about 320. Another person who makes the same amount may only get approved for 289 because they maybe have higher debts than the other person. So no two things are alike. No two people's applications are the same because just about nobody has the exact same credit profile. So that's why I said it really is based off of your individual circumstances. So really, it's all about knowing what's on your credit. And I shared a video yesterday about how to look at your credit and things like that. So if you missed that one, check it out. but that's essentially what it comes down to. So you have to be approved for enough of a loan to, one, either buy a house on the market, which in Carolina, as I mentioned, the median price now is over $300,000. So, but if you're in the low to mid 30s, there's a good chance if your debt load is not too crazy, you would get approved for enough of a loan to, just buy a home on the market and just, not have to build a home using our self-help method. But both are great ways, but it's based off of what your life is and what you want to do and what you're willing to, sacrifice essentially to get an affordable home. 12% for all other bills. Yes, somebody asked. That's correct. So you add up all your minimum monthly payments, and you will divide them by your monthly income. That's going to give you a debt to income ratio. And you can Google information on that as well. There's lots of tools on the internet which you can actually plug your information in and it'll give you it. But it really is a simple formula. Look at your credit report, look at all the minimum monthly payments, add them together. That's going to give you a number. That number will be lower, it should be anyway, than your monthly income. So you're going to divide that lower number by the larger number. That's going to give you your debt to income ratio. Just got to move that decimal point over 2 places, everybody, and that's going to give you a percentage. Now, under some circumstances, if you are certain income levels, if you're what the USDA describes as very low, and we can get you a little bit higher with certain circumstances. One of them is, and I'll get more into that later, but if you were able to buy an Energy Star home, which that's really hard to do unless you're building it, you can get approved for a little bit higher amount because of the fact that they say you'll save on your power bill and all of those other things. So that's why I said this overview here is kind of give you a picture to find out if you think you're a good fit. But really, in order to determine what you would be able to do, we kind of have to really get a at least, run credit, do all of those things like that. So so it is very individual. No two things are alike. So this loan, again, is designed to make sure it's affordable for you. Some of the main things that they look at, I already talked about the income limits, but now when you're applying, and I do want to add this caveat, there's always caveats to this, is when you come in and you apply with us, it's really a kind of approval type process. We're not actually submitting it to the USDA until we feel your package will be successful. But through that kind of evaluation, we'll figure out what the best steps for you are. And we will never just say no. What we'll do, if you don't qualify today, we'll help you formulate a plan. You gotta actually live with the plan, but we'll point out the things you can do. Now, you would then have to determine, do I want to take 6 months to do this, 12 months, 18 months if you need to fix your credit or pay down debt. We don't want people to... I always tell people, be realistic. If you say you're going to give up every single thing that you do entertainment-wise and never buy Starbucks again, honestly, that's just not realistic. So what we tell people is, if you don't qualify today, form a realistic plan that if you follow the steps, you'll get there. Don't worry about the time. Don't worry if it takes you 6 months, 8 months, 12 months. Run your race. Don't worry about other people. Just run your race. And we'll be there to help you, walk you along the way. If you need help in certain areas, we have a lot of partners that we can refer you to that could potentially help you remove barriers that might be in the way. So we are there to try to help you with that along the way. So again, we have some very, very good partners. We are a member of the local United Way. They actually have some really good financial education classes that we have been referring people to. They're getting ready to start again. They even got some classes for your teens. So it's just they have some great financial education pieces. We also are partners with Central Virginia Housing Coalition, and so they have some services available that we will refer people to as well. So again, we have support. We can have, even if I don't have the people to help you, I can get you to the people that can. So again, we never say no. We say, not yet. Let's do this.